strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Dorien Morin-van.
Hello, everybody. I am Dorien Morin-van, and I am your host. I'm here to welcome you to another episode of Strategy Talks. Wherever you are watching, we appreciate you. If you're here live, thank you so much. We are live, so if you have questions, let us know in the comments wherever you are, and they'll pop up on my screen. I want to also welcome those who might watch this and catch this on the replay. Thank you so much for being here. And last but not least, those of you who listen week after week to Strategy Talks as a podcast, we appreciate you and we thank you for listening in. And with that, I'm just going to go pull up on the screen my guest for today, AJ Wilcox. How are you, AJ?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Dorien. I'm excited to be here.
That's awesome. Well, before I introduce you, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, who is Social Insider. They are the intuitive dashboard for social media analytics, reporting, and competitors analysis for brands and agencies. So if you need data, you need Social Insider. So who is AJ Wilcox? AJ Wilcox is a LinkedIn ads pro who founded b2linked.com, a LinkedIn ads specific ad agency in 2014. He's managed over 150 million in spend on the platform and their official LinkedIn partners. He's host of the LinkedIn Ad Show podcast and has managed 5 of the world's top 10 LinkedIn ads accounts. Wow. He's a ginger and triathlete. He lives in Utah, has 4 adorable kids, actually 5 now, he told me. And his company car is a wicked fast go-kart. So welcome, AJ.
So excited to be here.
I know. We're going to talk about what LinkedIn ads can do for you. So before we get in that, I have a bunch of questions ready. When was the first time you put a LinkedIn ad out? I'm just going to take you back. What's the first LinkedIn ad you put out?
So I actually figured out later on that this wasn't the case, but this is how I remember it. I went to go work for a B2B SaaS company. This was before I was the first digital marketing employee when they went on to later become public. But I go and talk to the CMO on my first day on the job, and I'm laying out all the different marketing strategies I want to do. I was an SEO and PPC guy. And she said, we just started a pilot with LinkedIn ads, so see what you can do with them. And I went, okay, cool. I've never heard of this, but I don't want to look stupid to my new boss, so I'll dive in. And I ended up jumping into the platform. Within about 2 weeks, my sales team was coming up to me saying, hey, your LinkedIn leads are incredible. Like, keep them up. I ended up growing that to become LinkedIn's largest spending account in the world. And so that was the beginning of my LinkedIn ads. But it was funny. I logged into my LinkedIn ads account later to see that at the previous job, I had tried a little test, but it wasn't successful. So I'm glad the second time was successful.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. So for those of our audience who are watching and say, small business owners, marketers, maybe they have clients who want to start LinkedIn ads. Maybe they themselves are ready for LinkedIn ads and what they can do for them. So who is ready? Who are these LinkedIn ads for? I guess is a great way to start. Who are they for?
Yeah, what you need to keep in mind is that LinkedIn is really, there's one huge pro and one huge con. So the huge pro is that it has targeting that is unparalleled by any platform. When you're trying to reach specific business professionals, there just is no other option. Like, the only option is LinkedIn. We can target people by job title, by their level of seniority, by the department they work in, by skill, by the groups, by name that they've joined. We can target by company name, company size, company industry, by email address, and the list just goes on and on. Everything I've listed to you is probably only about a fifth of all the targeting options that we have available to us. But that targeting comes at a price. The average cost per click when someone is taking action on one of our ads is somewhere between about $8 to $14, and it continues to creep higher. So
Right.
the targeting is incredible, which means that it's really good for those who are especially in B2B. If you're trying to reach specific business professionals, it can also work really well for white collar recruiting, for, it can be things like travel if you want to reach business travelers, or luxury products, or higher education. Like, all of those are great use cases. But because the costs are so high, it means that you've got to have a budget large enough to tackle that audience and make sure that it's working. Like, you need a large enough
Okay.
sample size. You also need to make sure that your lifetime value when you close a customer is high enough that you can make a return on your investment with, paying $8 to $14 a click. Generally,
Sure.
that means $10,000, $15,000 or more of lifetime value kind of qualifies you to get over that initial hump.
Okay, that's really, really, really good. So, how does somebody know they're ready? Is that a certain income, a certain marketing budget? That's when you know you're ready. How do you? I guess the question is, how do you pre-qualify somebody to know they're ready to hire to be part of your agency as a client?
Yeah, I like to make sure that they are ready to spend $5,000 a month. And that's if you're going after North America. If you're going after other areas of the world that are less competitive, less expensive, you can have a smaller budget. But I found that on about $5,000 a month, targeting North America, you get enough clicks and enough conversions during the month that you can tell, like, yes, this is working. I should pour fuel on this fire. Or, no, this sucks. I should get out.
Okay.
So it's kind of that minimum threshold. You should also know who it is that you want to go after. I have this acronym AMO, AMO, and it's the 3 pillars of social advertising. It's, you have to know who your audience is. You have to have a message to show them, explain what it is you're offering. And then the O is the most important. It's, you have to have something to offer them in exchange for their attention.
Oh,
So
I
if you
love
go
that.
in, you make sure that you've got all 3 of those pillars covered.
Okay, so that's really important to know your ammo, your audience, your oh, what was that? What
Your
did you say?
message.
Your message and
Yeah.
then what you offer.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, right? So you don't want to jump in until you have those things ready. So if somebody is watching right now and says, well, that's a lot of money. I'm just going to go in the back end of LinkedIn and set up some ads myself. Do you recommend that?
I mean, I was a self-starter. I did that myself to learn the platform. I will tell you, I spent millions and millions and millions of dollars learning what I know now, and realizing that I'd wasted a good portion of that. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you want to try it yourself, anyone can. And I'm the kind of person who I would have done that anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but if you need to move fast, if you need to work with someone who's already learned the learning
Mhm,
curve and you don't want to have
mhm.
to have that ramp up, then it might be worth working with someone who already has the experience.
All right, so let's talk about how LinkedIn ads work, right? So, is it kind of like what we know about Facebook? Is it an ads campaign? Is it that specific offer? Like, okay, we have like we want to do sales conversion, right? Because that's really either leads or sales. That's what you're going for, right? You want to either, like you said, the use case was higher education. I'm assuming it would be to target people to maybe sign up for a master's degree, or maybe they're hiring professors, right? And if it's a SaaS company, they want people to sign up, or maybe, yeah, they're hiring engineers, right? Am I correct to say to assume that those were the kind of conversions that people are looking for?
Yeah, anytime you're doing recruiting, there's enough of a carrot that you're dangling on that stick to get people over the level of friction required. So you can kind of go right for the kill with recruiting of any kind. But if you're a SaaS software company and you're trying to get people onto a demo with you, there's a significant amount of education that you're going to need to do to that individual before they're willing to hop on the phone with a potential sales rep. Like, they're going to need to be exposed to your brand and see what it is you do and see social proof. So there's a lot of the kinds of messaging, like pre-messaging, that you do, and then retargeting to
Okay, so
finally ask them for a demo.
that was my question. So that's awesome. So if you're trying to sell or get people to a demo, an ad by itself won't really do that. The campaign starts when you do an organic, when you're doing education, where you're doing videos, where you're doing that awareness piece. And that can be done organically, I'm assuming. But then can you retarget those people who have commented and liked and watched your video and all of that then for the ads? Is that what you're saying?
For some organic things you can. Like, for instance, on the ads platform, we can target anyone who's visited our company page in the last 30, 60, 90 days. So that's a great way to warm up audiences who are already exposed to you organically. Something that LinkedIn actually just announced like 3 weeks ago that's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but they announced that we're going to be able to sponsor posts from individuals. So this got me really excited because right now we can only sponsor posts that come from your company page.
Sure.
And many of us already know that people just don't interact with company page posts the same way as personal. Like when you see a company page post come through, you're like, I don't even know if there's a human on the other end of this. I don't know if they're even going to care if I comment. But a person, you're like, yeah, I recognize that person. I know them. I like them. I trust them. So when we're able to boost posts that are from individuals, I think we'll see a lot more virality. I think we'll see a lot of people interacting with that post, and then we should be able to retarget that for ads too.
That's going to be super exciting because you're right. I mean, there are some pages out there that are doing a really good job. About once a month, I purposely make a post where I tag a tool or a business page or something that, has benefited me. And when I do and I tag them, I pay attention to see if one time I tagged AT&T and AT&T came and had a whole conversation with me. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I know. So I have some other companies that I work with. And so when I tag them, I do see that they're engaging, but it is not just a company. It's also the founders and the people that work there that also engage together. So that's going to be a super fun and exciting update to what's coming. I think that's fantastic. So you talked about targeting a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about how specific can we get on LinkedIn, because that's super exciting. Wouldn't we want to get to the inbox of that VP that works at the hospital that has a leadership conflict or a conflict with their team, and we want to offer the perfect solution and have this wonderful in-house workshop? Can we target something like that?
So you can get an audience down to a size of a minimum of 300 people. Wow. So the example I like to use is you could go and target the CEOs of the Fortune 500, no problem. It's interesting. Like if you do, there are a lot of people doing that. So you're probably going to pay like $20 to $25 a click, which is kind of crazy. But you get down to that audience of like 300.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we can't do the audience of one. There used to be a hack a way around, and LinkedIn have since patched that. So now
I know you can do that on Facebook. I have seen those fun things where on Facebook you can do the audience of one, exclude everybody else and just prank your spouse or prank a friend.
Your roommate.
Yeah, that would be fun. So we can't do that anymore. So you have to have at least 300. So what else can you target? Can you target by country, region, age? What can we do?
Yeah, all the above. The combinations that I really love, I love to target by job title. I love to target by job function, which is someone's department. So department plus seniority. I love skills with seniority, and I love groups with seniority. So with any new approach that I'm doing, I'm probably going to create at least 4 separate campaigns. So I can test out each of those targeting and see if one of them is more performant than another or cheaper than another to reach my ideal profile.
So you run all 4 and then you see which one has the best results. Talk about groups. Yeah. What did you just say? You target by groups?
I love targeting by groups on LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn groups are dead. What the heck?
It's true. And so when I very first started on LinkedIn, groups were very much alive. And so I went and joined a bunch of groups. I think I joined probably 20 or 30.
Same here.
And I never went back and unenrolled from them. I never exited them. So what that means is at some point I had a passion about each of the subjects of these groups, and I probably still have that passion, but I no longer visit the group. Well, this works really well. So LinkedIn's not really pushing their group's product anymore for probably good reason. But if you went and joined a group called Salesforce admins, and I'm trying to target someone who's a Salesforce admin, chances are you still are.
Perfect.
Salesforce is still a passionate endeavor for you. So it will give you smaller audience sizes, but more often than not, those are the most active audiences on LinkedIn, which means you can get costs lower, and it's a great way of like narrowing down on someone, even if it's like a limited in size.
That's a perfect hack. I love that. That is so smart. And for those of you listening and watching, pay attention to that. I know that's how I get targeted on Facebook as well. I actually recently started leaving a bunch of Facebook groups because I was getting targeted for the wrong reasons, groups that I literally joined 12 years ago. So I did. And then when everybody found that add everyone button on Facebook, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. But yeah, I actually think one of my predictions for 2023 is, and this is just a prediction, this is my own personal thought, is that LinkedIn is working behind the scenes to get groups back up and running. 2023 is the year for community. You and I were both at Inbound in September, and during the opening keynote, they said community is here, community is back, community is the new thing. And I've heard it since I was in Suriname. I spoke about community, and it's everybody that I talk to is mentioning that 2023, people want to be in a place where they belong. They want to find people that they know. So I love that you're using that to target LinkedIn ads, but also for those of you watching and listening, go join some groups and figure out what's happening, because I've told my clients, if you own a group on LinkedIn, hold it. Hold your group. Don't delete it, because you might want it soon enough. I think they're going to roll out some new things because community is where it's at. And so that's good that you brought that up. So how about, can you really target by company name and all of that? Like, that seems crazy.
It does seem crazy. LinkedIn has had this ever since it came out in 2008. We've been able to go into a company targeting and type a company's name, and it would pop up if it found it, and you can roll with it. Currently, you can target up to 200 companies at a time using that. If you have more than 200, they have this feature called matched audiences. And this is where you can either upload a list of individuals from your, let's say your email list or something, to specifically target with ads. But they also release the same thing for company names. So we can upload a spreadsheet of up to 300,000 company names all at once and use that for either targeting only those companies or excluding those companies from your existing targeting.
That's great. And believe it or not, we are 17 minutes in, so this is going to close up soon. But I have a question for you. As far as LinkedIn ads go, when somebody starts out, do you prefer video or static images? Are carousels out there yet as ads?
Yep, carousels are out there. I don't recommend carousels. They tend to be a little bit more expensive, and you not see the performance on the other end.
Okay, which one do you recommend? Images over video?
Yeah, generally images. The single image ad generally outperforms, although just in the recent months, we've seen video start to, video will occasionally outperform single image. So if you have great video creative, sure, definitely test it out.
Sure.
But single image is a little easier to test into.
Okay. And is there a size? Is it square? Is there anything specific about the image that you have found? Does it have to have text? Is it people? Is it photographs? Is it graphics? Is there anything else you can get more specific on, or does it depend on the account?
Yeah, we've found that square outperforms every other option. We used to do horizontal. If you do vertical, it will only show on mobile device, which is LinkedIn hasn't given us targeting by device. So that's one arrow we have in our quiver if we want to control that this is just on mobile. As for the content of the image, it's all over the board. If you use faces, try to use an actual face, not an illustrated one, just because we react so much more appropriately to like seeing human eyes and recognizing that it's a face.
Sure.
But really, we've seen all kinds of imagery work. We haven't found a common thread.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good enough. That's good enough for me. AJ, you've been wonderful. Before we go, I have a rapid fire round that I'm going to ask you 3 really quick questions. I've got them prepared right here. So, angry client or angry coworker?
Ooh, angry client for sure.
Okay. Them. Emails or conversations?
Conversations.
Interviewer or interviewee?
I like interviewee. I think it's a lot more fun to have you interview me.
That's awesome. Awesome. So AJ, tell us where we can find you. And that's a great way to wrap up, and tell us what's the best place to connect with you.
The LinkedIn Ads Show podcast is my podcast. On December 8th, if you're listening to this after the fact, or if you're live, whatever, the episode that's coming out is all about small businesses using LinkedIn ads. So if that's interesting to you, definitely check out that episode. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, just make sure you find me. My name's AJ Wilcox. Make sure to send a personalized connection request and let me know that you heard me on Dorien's show. Otherwise, like if I just don't see any sort of explanation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that we as marketers, we basically tell everybody that, make sure that you tell us how we connected so we can have that link. And then we have something in common, right? Then we have a friend in common. So that's awesome.
Amen.
Well, AJ, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of the holiday season. I will, for those of you who are listening and heard AJ talk about his show on December 8th, I will link to that next week. I'll just put it underneath this, the live, that's, in case you're watching the replay. And I'll join. I can't wait to hear more about that, AJ. And thank you so much for being here. And everybody, I'll be back next week with another live episode of Strategy Talks. See you later, everybody.